Hello friends and potential friends. Well, I'm back out here at my customary spot, encouraging the asparagus to grow. I'm trying to fight back the weeds that keep trying to take over the patient's bed. Today is October 8th, 2021. I think it's Friday if I remember right. Haven't been paying much attention to that lately. I have started moving some of the plants out of the main raised beds to get ready to take them apart, but that's not really what I'm out here for today. In fact, the sun keeps coming in and out of the clouds, and every time it comes out from behind a cloud, temperature's going back up to around 90 degrees. Yeah, this is October in Central Florida. 91 yesterday, 90 the day before, been up to 91 today. I think right now it's hovering around 88, and you can probably see the sweat dripping off of my forehead. But what I really wanted to point out to you today is what's going on inside the lab. So let me get you off of that tripod and we'll head inside where it's a little bit cooler and see what's exciting. And as we head inside, you notice there's a little bit of vacancy here in the rosemary patch because I've moved a couple of the plants into big pots. This particular one, I'm planning on trying to do my hand at bonsai. I want to see if I can shape that into a picture that I've got floating around in my head. And hey, this last cloud has given us a little bit of rain, so that's certainly welcome. And I'm going to get into the lab and get out of it before the camera gets wet. Okay, made it in here relatively unscathed, and as you can see, things look a little bit different in here than they did the last time I brought the camera in, because I couldn't resist any longer. I had to start planting some of my winter seeds. We'll start over here on the left. I've got a tray of Ponderosa tomatoes that are sprouting up. There's one little, what's that one? Let's see, Brad's Atomic Tomato. Yeah, I got that one from Brett at the Swafford Homestead. The one next to it is Roma's. There's a few of those coming up. Next to that, we got the Praxis cherry tomatoes, one of my favorites. The one that's going really crazy is the red brandywines. And then we have a tray of Abe Lincolns that also came from Brett, and Mule Team. The Abe Lincolns and the Mule Team haven't started sprouting yet, but I imagine they will any day now. Now, for those of you that might be wondering, I got into the habit of starting my tomatoes this way as a result of my gardening buddy up the street. Because for the last few years, he'd been bringing me down trays of dirt with a bunch of seedlings packed together in them, and then I would go through and separate out the plants, put them into yogurt cups, give him a share, keep a share for myself, and we were both happy. He grew his tomatoes this way because he was legally blind and he could not separate the seedlings. So that became my job. And it seems to work out. I got fairly good at it. I have a pretty good success rate at pulling those out and putting them in yogurt cups, so I just keep on doing it that way. Now, as for the rest of this mess in here, I brought my book with me today so I can keep track of what I've got going on. Back there in the back left, I've got 4 yogurt cups of Black Beauty eggplants. I haven't grown eggplants before. I decided I wanted to try it out. Next to them, blue curled kale. That's one of my favorites. I'm only growing 4 cups of that this year because I really just need enough for my fresh salads through the winter. If you saw some of my previous videos, you know I canned a bunch of greens last year. well, earlier this year. So I don't really need to grow enough to do any canning. I just want fresh salads. Oh, here we have a Michihili Asian cabbage. That was one of the first ones that popped up, and more than likely those will be going in one of the green stalks. Next to them, haven't got any results yet, but there's a butternut squash, and then up here is another squash, spaghetti squash. Decided to grow a few of those through the winter. I can't seem to grow them in the summer, so I'll try them in the winter. And then up here in the front, I've got one of my real favorites, is Cabbage Collards I got from Chris and Darlene at Homesteading the Hard Way. Got those seeds 2 or 3 years ago, and I've been growing them ever since. But again, like the kale, last year I went crazy with collards, and I put away, I think it was 48 pints of mixed greens. So again, this year I'm just growing them so I can have them fresh. Those leaves make real good wraps. I make myself some green burritos once in a while. Next to those is another one that I've never grown before, but I've seen a lot of people growing them, so I decided to give them a try and see if I like them. And those are the purple Vienna Kohlrabi. And it looks like I got too many seeds into that cup, so I may have to try separating some of those too. I've got 4 cups of kohlrabi there just to see if I like them. The next aisle over here, the trays in the back, there's nothing popping up in them yet, but that's a part of a experiment that I've got going on, along with those 2 big trays in the back of the next row where there are some things popping up. Anybody recognize that? If you do, that's a spoiler for an experiment I've been working on. And that's all I'm going to say about it for right now. Next, I got 3 cups of Napa Cabbage. Again, those will probably be going in a green stalk. Then I've got Golden Acre Cabbage. Up near the front, let's see what these are. Walla Walla onions. I'm trying my hand at trying to grow some onions again. And the ones up in the front here are bunching onions. And it looks like there might be one coming up right there. Can you see that? Right near the tip of my finger. A little speck of green, and I just noticed that. Then over in the next row, I told you about the ones in the back. I've got 2 of my mango seeds that have sprouted. Those are the 2 that I peeled the husk off of. The 2 that I didn't peel the husk off of look like they're probably rotting, so I may have to give up on them before too long. And then finally, over at the far side, I've got 2 dozen rosemary cuttings. I had 1 dozen in here, and then I planted another dozen so that I could make that video a couple weeks ago. And full disclosure, looks like out of 24, I lost 1. Rest of them seem to be coming along nicely, and I'll probably be moving them outside before too long, because some of them are already starting to send roots out of the bottom of the yogurt cups. But anyway, this is the current state of the lab. I saved a little bit of space out here because when I start separating those tomatoes, I'm going to have a bunch more yogurt cups that I have to deal with. And that's also why I'll probably move some of that rosemary outside before long, because I'm going to need the space in here. It's been empty for the last month or so, and it doesn't take long to fill it up. But that's really all I've got for you today. I've started working on dismantling the main raised beds, moving some of the plants. Haven't made it very far on that. I did buy a toy yesterday that's going to help me make the place a little bit pretty and also help get rid of some of the debris from that tree. Might mention that in another video at some point. but I haven't even got it out of the truck yet, to be honest with you. Went and picked it up yesterday. I just wanted to show you the lab. I'm sure some of you will be almost as relieved as I am to see things growing in here again. Oh, look who's come to visit. Coming to get some breakfast, or lunch actually. And the rain has stopped, so it's safe for me to have the camera out here. Let's see what he's going to do. Let me back off and give him a little more space. He gets nervous sometimes when I'm talking to him. Yep, time for brunch. Okay, I'm going to let him eat in peace, and I'll see you next time.